Anyway, shifting gears to another interesting story, we have the Mumbus, okay? If you're new to town, kama wewe si mtu wa town, ulikuja Nairobi juzi, haujui the Mutuas, aka the Mumbus, aka as in they have this new YouTube thing going on where they've just been letting us into the family, as we've been seeing the father-daughter relationship between Abel Mutua and the daughter. We've been seeing the talks between Judy Nyawira and the daughter. As in, it's just been interesting. It's that tight-knit family, as in they're just goals, simply put, you know, as she's a young adult navigating life and she has all these emotions, but the way she just articulates everything, you're like, Aki, if I could turn back time, I would tell my parents these things as they were. But then you ask yourself, would my parents have received it the way these two parents are receiving all of these things, you know, like her saying she has a boyfriend or she's attracted, as in the Mutuas have just been killing it on YouTube and we love it. However, on the latest episode, we have Judy Nyawira telling us about her childhood and how she saw her mother being a housewife for a good part of their lives. And when the father finally passed away in 2000, as in things hit the fan, basically, because she was a housewife. She had never worked a day in her life, and the breadwinner had now passed away, and the children were being pulled from private school to public school, and even facilitating that small amount was still an issue. And she saw her mom, you know, going to the market to sweep, to just get that 200 bob to feed them. And, you know, it made how the mother raised them, it made the mother very intentional about how she raised them, about the lessons she taught them, especially about finances. Because as things were tough and thick as they were, the in-laws still came to claim the mali of the deceased, talking about, you know, he was our brother, he was our this, he was our this. So now you're just left high and dry. You don't know where to turn to, you don't know what to do. And she says at some point, you know, while being married, her mother called her and told her about how it's very important for a woman to have something to her name. Even if you're married, even if you're stable, even if you have a billionaire, you know, even if you're living and you're comfortable, at the end of the day, it is very important for you to have your own thing, because you never know what could happen. Sometimes people change, you know. We have seen these scenarios where you've been a happy family for almost 20 years. And then this man decides, it is time for midlife crisis. I want a younger thing. I want to rediscover myself. I want to do all this thing. And this man completely switches up on you. Or there's the issue of sometimes illness and funds are drained. Exactly. So even if you're comfortable, even if things are good, always have that emergency fund. Always have assets to your name. Always have something you're doing on the side. Just don't sit there and say, we good, we Gucci. But also, there's the extreme side where women take it extremely. Especially if you grew up with mothers who told you this all the time. Usiwai depend on a man. It is good and everything. So now, you do it excessively to the point where you're living in a house that you own, but your husband is paying rent for that house unknowingly. Or you have like millions in your bank account, lakini mnakula ugali because like ugali and strong tea, or you're sleeping hungry because your partner doesn't have a dime. Just do it moderately, as in have your own thing going on, but also don't be a stingy person. Yeah.
It's very easy for you to listen to that, especially like because I have an auntie. Wow. It's like every time we meet, it's the same conversation.
Yeah.
Have you finally joined a circle? Have you finally
uko na
started putting
chama?
out funds? Have you finally decided? How are you guys deciding on how you're splitting your money? Blah, 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 blah. The same conversation year after year after year. Have you bought at least an apartment somewhere where you're secure that in case of anything, you'll have somewhere to go? Have you? It's always the same conversation. And my partner has no idea because obviously this is the stories that you've gone out, all of you are together, and then she'll grab you. She's like,
Kuja kando.
yeah, and this happens all the time. Even my mom used to have the same narrative. She's like, are you going to be able to sustain this? Like every time I'd come to her, like, Mom, I need, I think I found someone who I like, but they have this one thing about them that I don't like. She would ask you the same question. Is it something that you can live on or live through or live experiencing for the rest of your life? Because unfortunately, once you guys are in a relationship, once you guys have tied it down completely, that thing that you hated, it becomes amplified 1,000 times more because
Yeah.
now they have nothing to lose. So as we say, and as I try and remind people all the time, yes, he has money, but it will always be his money.
True.
Yes, he has a nice car, but it will always be his car. Yes, he has a house, but it will always be his house. Even when you're married, somehow you end up getting in a situation where you're still the person who is being given. It's never like you can't just wake up one day and decide you're going to take 20 million out of that account without having to answer to anyone. That conversation, every time you remind yourself that these things will always be this person's, and unless they are in my name, unless legally we can say that this is mine or it is a joint asset, then they will continue to be that person's assets. Always remember that. So either one, work harder to get your own stuff, or two, have a conversation with your partner such that you have some semblance of joint asset situation.
Yeah.
Yes, even if you have a joint account, always remember that you need to have conversations about how the money is being spent and all of these things. And you can never really fully have a conversation about how money is being spent unless you've had a stake in making the money. That's usually what happens. A guy will wake up and you're like, no, babe, you can't buy a new car. They're like, why? I worked hard. This is my money. So why can't I buy a car? It's never your money when they want to do something big. It's always my money. So just always remember that someone else's finances shouldn't really be counted as yours, because truly and honestly, they never really will be. And they're the ones who worked hard for their money, so they can choose to do with it whatever they please, and there's nothing you can do about it. Just always remember that. It's gloom and doom, but you can also enjoy your nice lifestyle if that's what you want to do.
True, 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 true. And unfortunately, the go-to emotion is, Kwani, y'all don't have faith in my partnership. Because,
there's nothing
you're
wrong
in
with
love,
it.
you're obsessed, you can't even explain it. But please, as much as you're in love, be careful, okay?
Have you ever had a fight with your
Okay.
partner and then you start to remember all the things that you either stand to lose or gain? You know, sometimes you're so mad at this person, and then because they're worth nothing to you, you're just like, all right, fine, let it burn. But when you have something to lose, you always compromise. Do you want to be that person who's constantly compromising in every argument because you don't want to lose your check? For lack of better words, it's very scary.
Yeah,
What's it?
it
When it's serious.
is. Whew.